So yeah, games.
Yeah, games. What have you played recently, if anything, if you've had time?
I haven't played much new stuff. Like I went back to play some more Fallout 4.
Oh, cool.
I replayed Shadow of Mordor
Oh,
because I
right,
think,
yeah, because the sequel's coming out.
yeah, man, so I started up my save on that game and I realized I didn't remember how to play at all. So I just had to start over.
I haven't actually played it before. My friend Sam's a massive fan of it.
It's really good, man. It's really good. You should play that.
Yeah, I really should. I need to get around to trying it. I'm probably not
So,
going to play Shadow of War as it launches, because I won't have enough time to play Shadow of Mordor and get good at it, and I feel like I'm going to need to at least play it before I play Shadow of War.
maybe it'll be really different. You
It
never
might
know.
be. Um,
The the best thing about Shadow of Mordor is that they came up with a system for letting you choose your own goals that's more interesting than the critical path.
that is
And
impressive.
it's this dynamic system where basically like so there's whenever you get killed by an orc, that orc gets a promotion and becomes like your nemesis, and he gets a name and like a personality and stuff.
Right.
And so when I first heard about that, I'm like, that sounds stupid. Like, why would that be any good? Oh God, it's so good. Like, what happens is the orcs are all in like a hierarchy with the warlords at the top and the chiefs at the bottom, and then like the regular orcs underneath them. And you basically can like hunt down and mind control these orcs so that eventually they're all under your power.
Okay.
And so you just have this huge army of orcs, and it's great. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but and it has nothing, like almost nothing to do with the actual story of the game.
Mm. It's just
It
for
just
fun.
you end up making up your own story because like you get killed by this guy, and then he shows up later and he's like, "I thought I already killed you." You know, or like, or you think you got rid of him, and then he shows back up and he's like, "I'll bet you thought I was dead, weren't didn't you?" Well, no. And so there's just these little mini stories that show up that nobody wrote. They're just like little procedural moments,
Right.
surprise you, and it feels really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, you should play it.
Yeah, no, I really should. I've heard nothing but good things, so I really really should get around to playing it at some point.
And then I
Um,
was intending to replay Saints Row 4.
yes, yes, you are a fan of that.
I just installed it right before I talked to you,
Oh,
so
nice,
I got that one coming up too. I don't
cool.
know. I have some open world itches that need to be scratched. I think
Mm. Yeah, that's fair.
I
I
don't
do.
I don't have a Switch yet, so I haven't played the new Zelda.
Ah, okay. I have stated my thoughts on that. I know it's
It's tough.
sacrilege. I know it's sacrilege, but I kind of agree with Jim Sterling. Like, I don't like the weapon system. I don't like the durability. I like the game. I think it's a fantastic game. I hate the weapon system. But that is enough of that, because people will
That's
hate me.
that's not something I would ever have designed, a system where your weapons deteriorate like that, because
It's not that they deteriorate. I'm fine with that, because I mean, it's technically ammo. Like, technically. But it's when the ammo is so weak. Like, you have say, like a woodman's axe. Um, and, you know, like, a woodman's axe, it's an axe. It's not gonna break upon piercing flesh. But it breaks upon piercing flesh after using it, like, twice. And I'm just like, but why? Why can't I just use this thing? It's been 2 seconds. Like, I just... Why is it broken?
see, even if that wasn't the case, like I still probably wouldn't have designed something that way because players hate more than anything else having something taken away.
Mm,
Like it is it's like the worst thing you can do to a player is to take something away from them that they got. Like they hate that.
yeah, I can see that.
Generally, we're more we hate to lose things more than we hate to do anything else. Like losing things is more traumatic for us than almost anything else you can do to a player. So
Yeah.
what I would have rather done, if it were mine to design, is some system by which you're encouraged to use a different weapon instead of discouraged from using the same weapon.
Mm. Yeah, that would probably help.
Which, to bring it back to the subject, is pretty much what Ratchet's all about.
Yeah, that is true. It is indeed.
Like the weapons do get obsolete, but you can still use them.
Yeah, that is true.
And
That is a good point.
the new weapons, bring something to the table that the old ones didn't.
Hmm.
That you have a reason to want to switch. And then once we introduced the upgrade system, you also wanted to switch so that you could get all your different weapons upgraded to max.
Yeah, and they could do that anyway. Like the durability is probably there because there are so many different weapons. You can get so many weapons from different camps, and each bow looks different, each sword looks different, or club or whatever. But you could class it as just a like a not palette swap, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a sprite swap. Like it's just a nicer looking bow or a nicer looking this or a different looking thing that you think is cooler. Like that would be fine. That would work as well. Just the same power, but look like I would be fine with that. That would work. I don't hate it. It irks me, and I don't want to play because of it a lot of the time. And I shouldn't feel that way, but I do, and I'm sorry.
Well, psychologically, it's called negative reinforcement, and people hate it. Like they hate punishment more in general, but they really don't like negative reinforcement either.
Yeah.
Because like punishment, people confuse the two a lot. Like punishment is when you do something wrong and something bad happens to you. Negative reinforcement is when if you don't do something right, something bad doesn't stop happening to you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like if you're getting a constant electric shock unless you press a button, that's negative reinforcement.
Yeah.
If you press the wrong button and you get an electric shock, that's punishment.
Yeah. And that's psychology.
Yeah.
I studied that for like
what
a bit.
What people really like is rewards. Like if you can turn a punishment or a negative reinforcement into a reward, you're usually better off. Like there's this story Bill Roper used to tell about Diablo, where they had they basically figured out that if you turned a negative into a positive, people would get really excited about it as opposed to getting pissed off about it. So, like they had this situation where people were duplicating items, basically cheating.
Right.
And so there were like thousands and thousands and thousands of this item called the Stone of Jordan that had been duplicated. And it wasn't like they could just take them away from everybody because some of the people had bought them legitimately, right? Bought these fake ones legitimately from people who had duplicated them. So if they just took them away, then people would have been impacted, right?
Yeah.
Not like there weren't a lot of great options for what to do with it. So what they decided to do was they made a brand new boss called Uber Diablo that only appeared every time you vendored, like across the whole game. Every time like 100,000 of those things got vendored, Uber Diablo would show up, and then you'd fight him and you'd get like one really rare cool item.
Okay.
Right? So when people figured out that all you had to do was get rid of the Stones of Jordan, right? All of a sudden a ton of them just disappeared from the economy.
Right, okay.
So that people could get this one cool new thing, and then they became rare again.
Oh, that's cool.
And people liked it, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a positive thing,
Yeah. That's actually really good.
In World of Warcraft, when it was in beta, they had did you ever play WoW?
No, I never I've never bought into like a subscription based game before.
So they put in this system where they wanted to discourage players from binge playing a lot, right? And they wanted to make it feel not as bad when you logged off, like that you were losing something for logging off. Because like EverQuest and games before that, if someone just played more than you, they were always ahead of you.
Yeah.
Right. So there was an inherent system in the game that was punishing you almost for logging off, and they wanted to kind of lessen that a bit, right? So the first thing that they did, and everybody hated this, was they put in a system where the longer that you played, the less XP you got.
Oh, okay.
And then if you logged off the game, that would reset back to normal, and you'd be getting normal XP again.
Yeah, that doesn't really work though, because as soon as you notice it getting lower, you're just gonna log off and log back on, so it doesn't really do anything.
Oh no, you had to be logged off for like a certain number of hours.
Oh,
like,
okay, I see.
Every hour that you were logged off increased the amount of XP that you would gain. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not great.
So yeah, it sounds awful, right? And everybody hates it. So what they did was they changed it so that normally you just get like, say, 1x XP, right? You get a normal amount. But if you log off at an inn, right, every hour that you're logged off, you're getting an increasing amount of XP bonus. So that when you log back in, you're getting double XP until that bonus runs out.
Okay.
Right? And that actually sounds cool. And everybody loved that system, even though it's the exact same system, just with the signs flipped.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of going from, double XP down to 1 XP for, as a penalty for continuing to play, you went from 1 XP to 2 XP as a bonus for not playing.
Yeah.
You see how it's the same thing?
Yeah.
But just the difference between making it a punishment or negative reinforcement as opposed to a reward was the difference between everyone hating it and everyone loving it.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, so it's you can have the exact same, like, they probably could have had the exact same system and figured out a way to phrase it as a reward in the Zelda game, and then people like it. You know what I mean?
To be fair, most people do like it. Like, I'm in the extreme minority.
I'm gonna bet that I won't like it, but I usually don't like that sort of thing.
We'll see, because like everyone claims it's a 10 out of 10, and I'm like 8, 9.
A 10 out of 10 could still have a bad system in it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, it's like you're fond of saying 10 doesn't mean perfect.
No, it doesn't. That's true. That's very true. The world is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic, gorgeous game. A lot of fun at times as well. But I hate that system.
There are no perfect games except for Super Metroid.
Yeah, you love Metroid, and rightfully so. There's a new one coming out.
Well, I actually don't really love Metroid games that much.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Super Metroid is perfect. Like, there's almost nothing wrong with that game, if there is anything wrong with that game. It's just, it is as well executed a game as I've ever seen ever.
Yeah, it is a fantastic game.
Like, I don't like the Prime Metroids very much.
I haven't played the Prime Metroids. I know everyone freaked out at just the title being mentioned at E3.
And the 2D ones I like fine, but except for Super Metroid, I wouldn't say any of them were perfect. But there was just, every decision they made in Super Metroid was, as far as a design decision, was done perfectly.
There's a new one on the 3DS, which is a remake of the one on the Game Boy, I believe. Okay.
That was a Zero Mission?
No, that's Game Boy Advance, which is a remake of the original Metroid. The original Game Boy, black and white kind of game.
Metroid 2?
Yeah, Metroid 2. It's a remake of that.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But it looks really good. They've also got what's the term? I'm about to die. Oh dear. Like it as what's the term? Like a system where you can. Well, I can't even think of what the word is for what I'm trying to say. Like you fight with your fists instead of a weapon. Whatever that term is. That just escaped my brain. Like if an enemy gets too close, you can grab them and just fling them over instead of firing, because you're like running out. And you can also fire in all directions and not just in like 8, which is kind of cool. Like you can point it around and aim accurately, which I really like the idea of. They just seem to be implementing a lot of different things that are gonna improve the gameplay experience, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Good.
Because I don't have anything against Metro games, I just haven't played many, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to playing it and hopefully getting into the series again. Cause
the 2D ones I tend to.
It's been years. It's been, I think, Fusion for the Game Boy Advance in like 2003, I think.
Maybe.
Something like that. It's been years apparently. So everyone's freaking out and very happy, which is good.
Just got to give the people what they want, and they'll give you their money.
Yeah. Have you seen anything of Splatoon 2? Because that's a good game.
I didn't play Splatoon 1 because I didn't have a Wii U.
Oh, right. Oh, did you not? Oh, that's a shame.
I didn't even want a Wii U, man.
Fair enough. The Wii U is a horrible console, but it had good games.
When Nintendo announced a console that I don't want, you know something's wrong, because
Yeah.
I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy. But I just didn't want one.
Yeah, it has some really good games. I have to say, it had some really good. A lot of their games were really underrated as well.
So just on a slightly separate note, a whole bunch of people were playing Mario Maker.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, Mike, you got to play this. You'd be so good at it. And I was like, I'm not gonna do work for them for free. Like, that doesn't sound fun to me, to go do what I do for work for another company for free. Like, sorry, I'm not gonna design levels for Nintendo unless they give me money.
I mean, is that technically what it is, though? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, but I feel like the thing is Nintendo isn't going to take those levels. I don't think. Like, it's more about, like, I hope that they never make another 2D Mario game again, or at least for not another 10 years or so, because there's no need, because there is a level creator. Like, that's the mentality I have. It's like Little Big Planet. I don't mind them creating a new Little Big Planet because you're upgrading, you're making a new story, or you're upgrading the system, but they're not being like, okay, you see these levels, we're taking these levels. Which in fact, what Little Big Planet 3 and actually 2, I think, did, they got some of the best level creators or user creators, and they flew them in to wherever their area was, and they were basically like, okay, we've created a new level creating system. Go nuts for the next 3 days. Make the best thing you can. And they were just like, some of these will be in the game. It was like, and they paid them all. It was just like, that's cool. That's a cool idea. Get your best level creators from the first game. Like, I liked that. That was a neat idea.
Makes me wonder though if any of them were professional level designers, right? Because I'm guessing.
I have no idea. Maybe not.
I'm guessing probably not.
I don't think so.
All really talented level designers that didn't do it every day. So
yeah, I don't think so. I think they just
tired and jaded about it.
Yeah, I think they were just like, oh, we just made these in our spare time because we enjoyed the game, and they like found out ways to make it better. Like Little Big Planet 2 is amazing.
That game is not for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it's one of those things I don't get because of who I am.
That's fair. Like, I found it amazing what they could do with it, because it's just a 2D level creator, and they found people to make, they found ways to make 3D worlds. I'm just like, how the fuck did you, how have you managed this? It's a 2D level creator.
That's what you do with tools, man. You abuse them to get stuff that you want, and make them do things that they weren't intended to do.
It was very impressive. I love it for that reason.
Like in Half-Life 2, right? They didn't have a system for making trams, but they wanted to have a trams at the beginning. So they just made an NPC that had a head that was a tram. and the tram just walked. Because they had a system for walking NPCs.
That's kind of brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's like, you know, using a tool to make levels, is you just... It's difficult to get the programmers to put in new features, so you try to exploit the features that are already there as creatively as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but Mario Maker is a good game, to be fair. I mean, the thing is, you don't have to make any levels. You can just play what people have made.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some amazing and horrible levels. There is some true shit in that game.
There's this, like, I lost the ability to appreciate bad design at some point after I became a designer. Like, I can't do it anymore.
Fair enough.
Like, whenever I'm playing a level, I'm judging it.
Right.
Like it, I can't not do that.
I have learned, like, it's sort of the same as an editor. Like, I can see that in movies, but I've learned how to switch it off. Like,
See, that's good. That's good because it means you can
hard.
enjoy something that is perfect.
Yes.
Whereas I don't really have that ability anymore
Yeah.
for a lot of things. Like I'm always analyzing it. I can't not be because it's just a part of me that's turned on all the time.
Yeah, fair enough. I just, if there's a horrible level, I'm just like, oh, this is bad. It's funny.
I get angry, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't like that game. You'd have to play. You'd really have to play like recommended levels. There'd probably like a couple of forums where like, oh, these are the best levels, or at least the said to be the best. Like those, you probably have to play those. Otherwise, you'd hate it.
Yeah, I might hate those too, though.
Well, yeah, maybe. Some of them are good though. Some of them are really good.
You know, because the ones that get voted up high, maybe they're just voted up high because they're hard.
Some of them are voted high because they're hard.
Yeah.
Some are voted because they're genuinely really good.
So that's good.
There's a lot of automatic levels.
There's a thing Nintendo does when they design Mario levels that make them fun for me because I get to appreciate their skill as designers. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I'm sure there's some of those in Mario Maker. It
Yeah.
would just be very difficult for me to only find those because it's hard for me to even explain what it is I'm looking for.
Right. I like how none of these boxes are touching the ground. It's pretty
Nice. Spherical physics, man, it's tough.
good. It is. I don't doubt that.